Well, here we are, podcast number 5, fifth one in a row, Benny. We've also got a guest in the house. Who have we got, mate?
This is Adam Moores. He knows lots of things about retro BMXs.
He does indeed.
And he likes big butts and he does not lie.
And of course, we are brought to you by Rocky Mountain Mountain Bikes.
Yeah, Ace Race, Crush.
All the good stuff, Twisted Concepts, BMX components and frames, Magneto Industries,
Stay Strong.
Stay Strong.
Those guys, yeah.
Stay Strong, they are definitely a big player in that, with us and the riders'
They
life.
look after us real good, I like to think.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Stay Strong, and thank you to all the sponsors that look after us and keep us going.
Thank you to Adam for turning up.
Thanks for having me.
This could go great.
Also known as Retro Racer.
31.
There you go. Instagram
is that your
handle?
Instagram handle, is it? Yeah.
It is the Instagram handle and YouTube handle and every other handle under the sun.
And of course, you've actually got a blog as well that you also do with a little bit of the retro riding.
I do, retroracer31.com.
There you go.
So yeah, you can find me everywhere.
Beautiful. There you go,
I
guys.
feel so unprepared. I did not know that.
Right. So talk us through, Benny. What have you been up to lately the past month, mate? It's been a whole 4 weeks since we caught up.
Hanging out with you, mate.
Well, there was the first week, and then what have you been up to since then?
Well, hanging out with you more. We went and made nuisances of ourselves at Nitro Circus.
We did. We were hanging around and lurking in the background.
Couldn't believe the timing of that, though. You know. Hey guys, come and check out behind the scenes at Nitro Circus. You get media passes where no other media can get one, and then we get the go ahead to go to Tasmania on the same night.
I know.
So Tasmania as well.
We were kind of hanging in the balance there for quite some time, weren't we?
All or nothing.
Yeah.
With
and
us.
then all of a sudden we got the phone calls within an hour of each other. Hey, I've got your backstage media passes, and hey, you're going to Tassie.
Yeah. That was cool. It was good. It was legit. It's going to be like that going forward.
I hope so.
For us.
It was a lot of fun.
I reckon, yeah. We're going to be flat out.
So in case you didn't know, Adam, what we did was we got the call from Blake Williams, Bilko, in the motocross industry. He's part of Nitro Circus. And he got us backstage to go and interview a whole heap of the BMX riders at Nitro. So, of course, we're standing there during practice, down on the grass there, watching these guys roll in on this hill that...
It was big, eh?
It was stupid.
Yeah, when you're standing on the ground looking up at this thing.
It's different when you're in the crowd, but when you're actually standing next to it, it gives you a whole different perspective as what they're doing
the
and
size
what
of
they're
this
looking
thing.
at.
Yeah.
You know, and then just to hit it like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There was a kid. He was what, 7, 8?
Yeah, if that.
On a skateboard.
Yeah.
And he was nailing it.
Rolling down it and pulling the biggest method you ever saw.
I've seen some of the videos and I'm sure we all have, but I'm guessing once you're there and seeing it live, the videos just don't do it justice.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I think there was like, for me personally, the adrenaline and everything that's going on in the ground down there, no wonder they keep getting up and just keep going and doing it again. Like, it doesn't matter how many times they crash, the adrenaline down there is tenfold what I've ever experienced in the crowd. You know, it's just great.
Well, those dudes are super cool too, you know, like they back each other flat out and they're just real nice. Like, I've
never been welcomed so well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not
anywhere.
a big believer in the whole hero worship thing, but those guys were just legit really cool, man. Yeah, they were really, really nice. They were just dudes that were good at what they do.
Yep, and have fun doing it.
Yeah, having a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool hanging out with them.
Yep.
Yeah, I look forward to doing it next year.
Yeah,
have we got a video in the works of you two guys on the
There certainly is, mate.
There's a bit of chit-chat going on. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure Luke would have loved to have a crack at that ramp.
You know what, I probably...
Really
if you had have asked
shell,
me before I seen the ramp up close, I would have gone, yeah, no worries, I could do that. Because by the crowd, you kind of go, yeah, it's not bad, it's pretty easy. When you actually get up close and look at it, you're sort of going, hang on, that's like, what, 4 stories high?
Something like that, yeah.
And then you're looking at the gap and you're going, But I reckon, with a little bit of... I reckon if we got out to the Mega Ranch maybe, and had a few practice goes at it,
a soft target,
where it's got like a tabletop, you know, you got your ramp tabletop into a landing, you've got a couple of chances of actually...
You do have a 16-inch pit bike. It would be absolutely ideal to get over that.
It could be another world first. You could go on tour with these guys. Oh my God.
I like it.
I don't know why we didn't get you here sooner.
And of course, we head out to Tassie, where
Tassie.
Dizzy from Waverley Cycles certainly looked after us, didn't he?
What a bloke. He's a legendary character.
He is, and he's, He's become an absolute legend in Tasmania too.
Yeah,
everybody knows Dickie.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
As soon as the van rolls through town, they're just running out the front door throwing rose petals on the road for the guy. Everyone knows
there was
him,
just this vibe down there, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh, there was kids everywhere on the trails.
Yeah.
The trails that we were riding, you know, the double black diamond ones, there was nothing there that you couldn't get around if you didn't want to hit it.
I'd be happy to take my family down there, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like,
well, maybe wait until you got a bit of life insurance on a couple of them before you do.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, there's kids everywhere. The pump track that they've just built there is incredible, but it is a town based around mountain biking. Yeah. Pure and simple. Yeah, and it's just transformed this old shitty tin mining town into, you know,
a Mecca.
Yeah,
It's
the
unbelievable.
must go to place in Australia.
So there you go. There's 2 videos that you guys should definitely be waiting for. We will get them out.
Yep.
But you know, these things do take time, and we're always working on them. What else have you been up to? Anything else?
I've been taking a bit of time off the bike. I don't know, I've been kind of thinking about what it means to me a little bit and stuff like that, you know, because a lot of cyclists...
soul-seeking.
A little bit, mate, yeah, because, you know, having been in the industry and stuff like that, you see a lot of weekend warriors come through the door, and I find that they take themselves far too seriously. Yeah. You know, like, oh, I've got to get this Strava time. Or, mate, I have seen triathletes start shaking when I tell them that their shifters aren't working. And like, oh my God, I've got to get this training session done and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, you know, I've obviously been in the competitive side of it as well, and whatnot. And so I stepped back from it for a little while and had a bit of a think about it and thought about, why do I get on the bike and why do I do it? And for me, you know, it's a real soul cleansing experience.
Certainly.
And so I've taken that away from myself to see how it would affect me. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm a pretty shitty human being these days. I don't have a lot to talk about. I've got no endorphins. I've got nothing, man. So it's really for me.
No play for Betty.
Yeah, it is. I have no outlet. I have nothing. Yeah. So yeah, for me, that's what it's come down to, is that if I don't have that escape, then, you know, it's a massive part of my life missing. Yeah. And I don't do it for competition or anything anymore. I just go out to clear my head and stuff like that. So I guess it was a few weeks
like
of
getting back to
abstinence.
Being a kid again and just getting on your bike and going for a ride.
Cleaning up, just wanting to do it again, wanting to, you know, feel the flame burn, you know. It's like, I want to go out and just ride and have fun and not worry about any of the shit that goes with it, you know. Yeah, so that's kind of what I did. And now we've got Bike Buller coming up and I'm hungry for it again. So
sounds good.
Yeah, I'll probably find myself wrapped around a tree on the first run.
It's all part of the fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's all part of the fun. We'll
Definitely.
make sure we've got people on all trees watching.
Thank you very much. Make sure that there's a camera everywhere.
And Adam, this is the first time you've been on our podcast, first time on The Rider's Life.
It is. No,
Talk to us.
Actually, it's the second time. I was on
You were
here
in a
for
video,
about 2
weren't you?
seconds.
Wow. Yeah, and I believe you also did a video of me in South Australia, so thank you very much for being the one behind that camera there.
For those that haven't seen it, Luke actually forgot to bring his retro bike to a retro race.
Yeah. You don't have to keep bringing it up, mate.
Sounds like, yeah. Good.
Yeah. What about yourself? What have you been up to lately, mate? We haven't seen you around the track too often. You've been in secret training.
I have. I've actually been injured for a bit, but been getting back out on the bike.
Cycling-related injury?
Yeah, I was, yep.
Yeah.
Been down at Frankston for their first round of the summer series. Couldn't make the second round, unfortunately. Been down at Casey. Been putting in a bit of training down there.
Yep.
We've got the state titles there later in the year. So
do you race age class as well as retro? Yeah, obviously.
I race retro first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then depending on where I go to, then I'll race age class as secondary. So like last year, I went to the South Australian state titles, raced retro. Raced age cruiser and raced 35 plus masters as well.
Wow, so you got a bit of stamina then.
Yeah, well, got my best result in 35 plus masters, which I would have preferred to get that best result in retro, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
No, awesome work, mate. No, it's really good to have you here. So we're going to have a nice little discussion shortly.
What about you, mate? You've been quiet. Tell us about yourself.
Well, you know what? Once again, obviously, we were hanging out towards the start of the month there. Sort of tapered off towards the end of the month, but you know what? Just once again, out with the kids again, trying to get them more involved with not just BMX but mountain biking as well. So we headed out to the Yuyangs.
Yeah.
I found they were a little bit too advanced for Listerfield.
Your boys,
not quite ready for Red Hill. So we tried to find that happy medium.
Yeah.
And we spoke to a few people, and they said, "Well, hit up Yuyangs.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of trails there they should be pretty good with, so why not?" So we took the
Bucks tend
drive
to be a
out
good
there, and
place.
we got a couple of other kids with us as well. And you would have seen the photos up on Instagram and all that. So we had a couple of real small kids, a 7-year-old as well, out with us.
They slow you down heaps, but hey.
Well,
like,
I'll tell you, there was a
hurry
little bit
up,
of
will you,
whinging at the
kid?
start.
Yeah.
With, whenever there's a hill climb, and no, I won't even say a hill climb. Whenever there's a bump in the track going up, they're going to whinge.
Yeah.
So you kind of just have to drag them up that little bit, and once you get past that and they start to find the downhill, they're wrapped. And we ended up hitting one of the downhill tracks, which was lactic acid. It's probably just that little bit too much for them, but they just simply walked probably 2 little spots, and then they had a ball down the rest of it. So that was really good for them. The hill climb number 4 was fine. They seemed to just get off in a few little spots, but apart from that was great. And then the loop trail down the bottom, they had the most fun on. We went across the loop trail number 2, up number 11, which is sort of like your little climb, and then down number 3.
Yeah.
And that was a perfect sort of 20-minute round trip that they just loved. So
Do you taunt them heaps?
Oh, all the time.
Just like, hurry
all
up.
All the time. Come on. Jump that log, would you?
You're
Stop
soft.
looking at it. Come on, whip.
I would, because one day
And the
they're
funny
gonna-
thing is, they're sitting there thinking they're jumping and pulling off this whole heaps awesome jumps and that, but, you know, they're just getting that little 2 inches, whatever.
Yeah,
but you know what? You
mate,
encourage them.
You need to hit them with both barrels when they're young, because they're going to grow up and they're going to make us look like idiots.
I know.
So get him while you can.
That's it.
Because it's going to come back to bite us.
And then, of course, I competed in the second round of the Frankston Summer Series. Still haven't got my Stay Strong bike up and going just yet. So
Is that my fault? Do you need a break or something?
No, I'm
Okay,
actually so Twisted Concepts are still waiting for my wheels to come in from the UK, which
Okay.
is fine. I'm happy with that because
Yep.
you know I'm getting a couple of custom mods done to them.
Yeah.
As I always seem to do with my bikes. So sort of walked out to the garage and
I wasn't sure if that was a passive-aggressive shot.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Had a look in the shed and decided to grab the retro out and try and race in the age class in retro and see how I'd go against some of these up and coming guys who are starting to really pull their weight, like Lee Ellis and that. So yeah, got on the retro and had a bit of fun. And
let's investigate Lee Ellis. Like, that's a name that is ringing bells.
Seems that name is in many places over a lot of periods of time in different genres of riding.
Let's find out who this guy is.
So yeah, but look, you know, it was fun getting on the retro again. I haven't been on it for a while, and it was just great fun being out there riding again. It's been a little while. It's been since state titles I've been on a BMX. So.
Yeah, it's a bit of a void in the calendar at the moment.
And sort of, I put
controversial.
Well, I sort of modernised the retro. I put some your better tyres and all that sort of stuff, V-rubbers and 89
wheels
PSI.
with all the spokes intact.
It was weird. It was like the wheels were doing what I wanted them to do, but the rest of the bike just wasn't. You kind of go around a corner and half the frame would go that way while the wheels are staying straight. So
it's like using the good crockery to cook your noodles.
2-minute noodles.
Yeah.
But look, you know what? On the retro side of things, that's why we've got Adam Mills in here tonight.
The authority on all things Australian retro.
So we're going to go to a break at the moment, and when we do come back, we are going to be talking and investigating what's going on in the retro scene throughout Australia and especially Victoria. Adam Mills is the man in the know. He's certainly been around retro for quite some time now. So we're going to go to a break.
I'll tell you what though, Neil Searle's piss week.
You know what? I'd agree too. So anyone, if you don't know, we did hit up Neil Searle. He got a little bit surly having to come on the podcast, but you know what? We've got retro racer Adam Mills. He's ready to do it. He's ready to talk. That's so let's do this.
So I was second choice.
Yeah, you know, it happens.
No, we just didn't think we could get you with your hectic schedule and all that sort of thing.
We've seen your Instagram posts. You're lapping it up at the moment, mate.
We're just too nervous to approach you.
We'll be back right after the break. We are back.
And we're rolling.
Indeed we are. Now, let's get on to it. Let's get into our main discussion for this month's podcast.
This is cool. I'm looking forward to hearing Adam's opinions and direction that we should take with this to boost it. This is good because there's a lot of different ideas and
Opinions.
opinions and so forth getting thrown around. Like obviously the guys that are into retro have got a whole lot of good ideas that they try and implement, but they keep getting railroaded and so forth. So yeah, I'm looking forward to shooting the shit on this one, Adam.
So give us the lowdown, Adam. Where is retro at the moment? Where does it stand? Is it being utilised in many race meetings, or where is it at the moment? Because it seems to be a real stalemate, doesn't it?
It's a bit hit and miss at the moment. In Victoria, it's pretty well supported. South Australia is pretty well supported. In
Tassie?
In Tassie as well. In other states, not quite so.
Yeah.
Saying that though, there is people in New South Wales, Benny McDonald, who you've raced with before, Darren James up in Queensland, who I've raced against. I'm pretty sure you may have raced against him as well. Both big retro supporters, both, you know, travel around the country, Victoria, South Australia, and race their state titles.
Michael Carruthers as well.
As
One
well.
of the biggest video
Yeah,
YouTubers when
absolutely.
it comes
Yeah,
to
yeah.
putting up race meets.
And I
in
tell you
BMX
what,
Australia.
he can still get around on a bike.
He can.
As well. So I'm quite happy
This
when
guy's like 6'6" or
Yeah.
something and rides a 9.5-inch top tube
Ah,
on
like
retro.
Gary Ellis style,
and
eh?
I'm quite happy
Yeah.
for him to stay on the other side of the camera, so I don't have to race him. So
So it is there,
it is there.
but it's not there.
Yep. One of the big things that Neil Cameron, the outgoing president of BMX Australia, did for us, he actually modified the rules.
Yeah.
The rules up until last year were a pre-86 bike.
Yeah.
That had really stagnated the class all over the country. A few years ago, Victoria went out on the limb and said, let's remove the pre-86 frame and just have a 1-inch quill stem, flat pedals, and a brake that runs by a single bolt.
Yeah.
So no cantilever brakes or anything like
Yeah.
that.
And
And
knobby
the-
tyres.
Yeah, and the class flourished.
Yeah.
And you know yourself, there was nights at Knox Clubbies where we had, you know, semi-finals, quarterfinals,
Yeah.
things like that. We had Harry Leary come out. We had 35 people racing.
But
Yeah,
in
massive
saying
night.
that, do you find that it is trying to stay at a clubby level? You know, like people who enter retro are only at a clubby level and they're not wanting to go to those open meetings. Where are you finding that?
I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, they're all want to race at a clubby level, but I find with the open meets, depending on where it is, depends on how many people actually turn up. Some of the country meets don't get well supported, unfortunately.
It's a geographical thing, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, you'd find that across the board with all the entries.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. I just think maybe the retro class is very niche, you know, and generally the guys have lives, you know, outside of BMX and so forth, and they can't get about. So I think, you know, I don't think not having retro at nationals is a bit of a mistake, because if you're going to travel, that's where you're going to go, isn't it? Like,
Well, admittedly, the last time I raced retro, it was around at nationals still. So for me, you know, after that I stopped riding it, and whenever I went to travel interstate and I did estate titles, I would usually ride retro as my backup class instead of cruiser. Because I really don't believe in cruiser personally. A lot of people love it, but I just found it was a
Not your
bike that
thing.
sat in the shed for too long throughout the year. So that's why I sort of raced the cruiser. raced the retro.
And that's the thing with retro. It's a viable alternative to cruiser, as you say. And I know people that have set their retro and their 20-inch new school bike up very, very similar, so that they can go from one to the other and the bike doesn't feel too much different to them.
Yeah. So how long have you been racing retro for?
I actually started 2015.
Yeah.
I had never raced BMX before. I actually used to race road bikes, criteriums down at Casey Fields and Sandown Racetrack. And I just got into retro by accident.
Yeah. Was it through the racing that you got into retro, or was it through the actual bike collecting and all that sort of thing? How did you actually get involved?
I actually found a bike on Hard Rubbish, and I put it up on Facebook, said I've found this in Hard Rubbish. I got a message, and that message was from Neil Searle.
Yep.
Never met this guy before in my life.
So he's all right on Facebook, just doesn't want to come on a podcast.
He came over, he bought this bike, which was worth quite a bit more than what he bought it for, but it was unbeknownst to me. And he actually told me about retro racing. I thought, yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
So what hardware are you running? What are you racing on?
At the moment, I'm racing a Reynolds Racing Fresh 40. I have a 1993 Redline Proline frame coming in from the US. And last year I was racing a GT Cruiser, so I've gone from the Cruiser back to a 20.
You've been on a few bikes though.
I have been on a few bikes. I started off with the 87 Harrow Group 1, went to a GT. I've had the Vortex Cruiser,
wow.
the free agent team limo. I've still got the free agent that's sitting in my lounge room.
I might need another one of those soon.
So there's been a few race bikes, but I enjoy the collecting of them as well. I enjoy the building of the bikes, and I think really I enjoy the chase of finding those parts or those hard to get parts to build the bikes that I want to build.
Yeah.
I think and that's one of the beauties with retro too, is that the people that race it are really love their bikes.
Yeah.
They're really builders. Yeah, they really put some money behind the bikes.
Yeah.
And they like going out there and talking to people with a similar interest to them, and we get interrupted by a couple of race meets every time we go out and talk.
And do you find that filtered through to like the younger classes of the retro?
I do. I actually find that the parents...
There was quite a few of those starting to happen up, wasn't there?
Absolutely. Sunbury's a retro factory.
Yeah.
They've got kids coming out from the woodwork and racing retro. But what I find particularly with the kids is...
Well, I've actually got a question of that. Do you find that's because they don't do too well in their age class, so they come to retro because they find the competition's less? Or do you reckon that's actually because they just love riding retro?
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
That's a good question, actually.
It is actually a good question. You get a kid like Sam Todd who comes out and he races retro all the time.
Yeah.
He races his age class as well, and he'll get his top 8 or a podium finish in retro, and he'll get his top 8 as well in his age class. There's probably some kids at the back of the field in retro that will come through, maybe get 7th or 8th in retro, that wouldn't get those sort of plates in their age class.
Yeah.
So
realistically, it's
keeping them in the
cruiser
sport.
class.
Yeah, so retro, the pressure's off, isn't it? Like you're there and you just, like I was talking about before, you're on your bike, you're just riding it, you don't have that, external pressure coming in because you're racing all the, hotshot kids and so
You've
forth.
never raced retro.
I've always found that you've just got more excuses when it comes to retro. I can't clip in, my tyres will roll off the rim.
Yeah.
You've got all these new excuses you can use.
But,
I only raced retro when it wasn't retro.
but I personally think it's a viable alternative, or a viable class, and it keeps people in the sport.
Yeah.
And the big thing I find with retro is that the dads are like, I wanted a red line when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out and buy a red line.
It's that nostalgia,
and the
isn't
excuse is so my son can race it.
Yeah.
And then their son goes out and race, and then the dad's like, well, hang on, I'm here anyway.
Yeah,
I might as well get my old bike out of the shed and get it back out on the track.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation all around.
So then, are the numbers actually looking good figures-wise at open meetings and stuff? Or is it, like I said, is it just at that club level?
I think it's, like I said before, it's dependent on the race meeting.
Yeah.
There is some meetings that are heavily supported. Mount Gambier in South Australia, for instance.
Does that rely on the track, though? Are they looking at, like this, for example, let's talk, say, Eastfield, where it's an older style track, would suit a retro rider much better, as opposed to, or a Knox even, as opposed to like a Casey or a high class type of track?
I think it does. And funny you should say Eastfield, because that's where I had my first big crash on my retro bike. I haven't crashed at Casey yet, so let's hope I don't. But, you never know. But look, that's a good point. Some of the new tracks, and Casey being one of the newest at the moment, you could put that argument out that it's not retro friendly. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the skill of the rider. It has a bit to do with the bike, but not a lot.
Yeah.
We had retro...
when you see Simon Anderson bug around on a retro like he does, or even Luke Pretlove at States last year.
Absolutely, yeah.
You sort of go, whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't even know.
We've had William Lees ride retro at Wyndham a couple of years ago, and you know,
yeah.
he was on
He was
his
on a
he was
Hot
on
Foot 24, wasn't he?
Hot Foot Cruiser, and he went down the Pro Straight.
He's just
So-
mental.
He got disqualified for going down the Pro Straight, by the way. But
It was well worth it.
It was
Just
absolutely,
like
yeah. It was a great photo opportunity.
Yeah.
But,
So on a world scale then, are there other countries that are behind retro? Like, obviously America should definitely be, aren't they?
Absolutely. Out in the Philippines, there's a big, there's actually a big retro movement in the Philippines.
Yeah.
We start seeing videos of retro races
Yeah.
from there, UK and America as well.
Yep.
So there's a lot of talk in the US and a lot of interest in retro and the racing side of it as well.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, I may be getting a jersey from a UK retro team. So,
Oh, look out.
Yeah. So
You've got a thing with your retro jerseys, don't you?
I do indeed. So I approached them and we had a bit of a chat, and they liked the idea of having someone represent their team on the other side of the world. So
Nice one.
yeah, we'll see what happens in the near future.
Beautiful work. So where to from here then? Where can we, what is it going to take to obviously get retro? As we were talking a little bit earlier, and retro's not looking like it's going to be on the cards.
Can we start up a rival code?
Jeez,
I don't know about a rival code.
Oh, think big.
It'd be nice, but
So is it canned now from Aussies this year?
It
At
is.
Shep?
BMX Australia put the message out earlier today that retro won't be a part of the Nationals.
So that was delivered today, was it?
That was delivered today. That's for this
That's
year.
after
and
all the
Absolutely.
Facebook,
Yep.
everything that's been going on.
Yep.
So talk us through
Pushing
what's
for it,
actually
yeah.
been pushing.
Basically, it's all the riders that have been sending emails and messages and phone calls, and actually offering to self-sponsor it as well.
Yeah.
So some
Really? So
some
you
seri-
had people putting in their own...
absolutely. We had one person put up $1,000 for the trophies, another person $500. The other thing I find with retro too, and from a personal point of view, is that we actually attract sponsors. I've had to knock back sponsors before because for us to take it, it then becomes a case of that we get too much and the other classes see retro going, oh, hang on, how come they've got jerseys? How come they've got plates? How come they've got trophies? And
Well, I remember one year at Knox for whatever race meeting, I can't even remember what it was.
Yep.
But first place was a plate, jersey and trophy.
absolutely.
For retro.
And
yeah.
they actually
Yeah.
made us hold off on our presentation until after all the other presentations had happened,
Yep.
so that none of the other classes seen what we were getting.
Yep, yep.
You know,
Rival code.
it's pretty hard. Well, you can't do a rival code when you're going to be racing at the same day, eh?
Wow, you just set up somewhere else. Don't
Well,
you?
I don't know if the rival code's the answer, but
Awful.
I for one would just like to be included.
But hang on, so let me get this right. You've got people willing to invest in it.
Yep.
You've got how many riders basically got onto this petition or whatever it was, approximately?
Look, as far as I know, probably about 20 to 30.
20 to 30 solid riders,
Yep.
right? And you've got people with bikes ready to ride that are code
Absolutely.
correct,
Yep.
the whole bit,
Yep.
and willing to travel to
Yep.
Shepparton this year,
Yep.
and yet still being knocked back.
Yep. And my personal opinion, if it was at Shepparton this year, I think we'd get 70 entries across the board, at least.
Yeah.
You times that by $130 each. That's some serious money that
Yeah.
they've knocked back. And on top of that is...
Well, what's their reason behind it, though?
Look,
Because
I
I've found it's not just with retro, but it also is with a few other classes in BMX
Yep,
racing
yep.
that they're starting to knock back certain things. I mean, when I look at mountain biking, for example, if it's a case of, trophies and allocated trophies or whatever, all they've got to do is basically just close the entries earlier so
Yep.
people can get their entries in.
Yeah.
Where can you go from here, though?
I understand BMX Australia would like to... They've got a product that they want to sell to sponsors. and they want the pro classes to be the pinnacle of that product. And that's understandable. I think in every sport, the pro class should be the pinnacle of the product. But I also think that all other classes should be involved as well. That's my opinion. Whether BMX Australia obviously doesn't agree with it, but
yeah. Well, what I read into it is that they didn't want to put it in there because they see it as a novelty class.
Well, they do, and I'll tell you what. Anyone that says that retro's a novelty, come and grab your bike. I'll lend you one. Come and race it, because those guys are fast. Luke, you know yourself that. At the front
competition
of the field.
in retro I found was just as fierce as what it was in any normal 20-inch age or master class. Do you know what I mean? The only difference was we were doing it on bikes that flex and twist 10 times worse than a new school race bike.
Absolutely, and then those guys then go on to race their age classes, and they're picking up podiums and plates in their age classes.
Well, it's only going to help with your normal bike, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If you're riding something around it's a fairly ill-handling beast.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you get on your super-duper bike and, obviously it's going to ride a lot better. So you could argue that it's actually aiding in the development of riders too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even with the kids, up until last year, that flat pedals in retro, obviously now kids have to have flat pedals, but last year you had 8-year-olds on clips. The ones that were racing in flat pedals in retro, they're jumping on their new school bikes and they were kicking it.
Yeah,
they were doing sensationally well.
Yeah, it's like learning to drive in a manual, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
You do.
It's the stepping stones. You don't want to go backwards. You go forwards, and flat pedals were definitely a thing to do that.
Yeah.
One other thing I've got. Why not side hacks?
Wow.
Will they ever have a resurgence in side hacks?
God, they were cool to watch.
Jeez.
You remember the Devil's Disciples?
I don't know. Some of the
Steak
guys,
Because I know that there's quite a few guys in the retro scene that have been asking and really trying to push for it.
look, I think it's one thing to ask for it and push for it.
Yeah.
And I think
they're still doing it today at Grands in America.
Absolutely. And I think
they put 4 on the gate and off you go, boys.
Yeah.
Whoever survives, I guess.
And I think it's one thing to actually be on the bike pedaling, but the poor bugger that's in the side hack and hanging on for dear life, I don't want any part of that.
No.
I did that for a while. I was on the side.
I've always wanted to give it a go, and yet
it was good.
I know a few people with side hacks. I've always wanted to purchase a side hack so that way I've got one and take the kids down to the shop.
Pedaling was heavy, eh?
I don't know about you, Luke, but I don't want to go over the Knox doubles in a side hack, that's for sure.
Well, I'm sure you'd look at the track and sort of have it track specific to being able to cope with this. You wouldn't want to go down Frankston second straight, would you?
No, not at all. That's right.
You'd be holding on for grim death. Well, I mean, look, I'm a little bit baffled, I'm a little bit bewildered as to why, when there is such a following of retro in not just Victoria, especially when the Australian titles are going to be here in our own, doorstep, and South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria are the biggest states with retro backing it, that they would deny it. Where can you go to from here, though? Is it 100% off the cards now?
It's 100% off the cards.
Have they got it at their open meeting coming up this weekend?
No.
Just
so
whitewash.
Yep. So, Shepparton does have it on this weekend.
They've got it on this weekend, but not for the Aussies.
Yeah, but not for the Aussies. It's just that's.
And at a state level, Vic States.
At state level, it's going gangbusters. We're getting big numbers.
How did you go last year at Warrnambool? What were the numbers?
I think we had about 47 entries or something like that.
Quarters.
It was actually across the classes. So it's.
So what are the biggest ages when it comes to the retro? Is it more the kids or up in the top ends?
It's actually it's all spread out. So the 8 to 14 is big. There was 2 gates of those. The 14 to 29 is actually getting really big and very, very competitive. And it's actually really cool to see some of those kids that you see that are just starting to hit those sort of pro classes come back and ride the retro bikes. Yeah. So you're getting people like Mitch Ords, the Jagagovics and stuff like that. They're coming out and they're doing great.
Yeah. So then what's the general consensus to get this up and going then? To make it go to the next step? Obviously you've got it to that point where it's right on the cusp of being able to go further.
Yep.
What's the next step? What are you guys going to be able to do to
I think it's, at the moment, it's just to keep pushing it at state level, keep those numbers building. Same with the Opens.
More races?
Yeah, just keep it building it. And the more they see it supported, I think, look, I personally think BMX Australia will come around eventually.
You know what we should do? I got an idea. We should get our own retro race, Riders Life retro race at an old school track.
Barwon. There you go.
Barwon?
Barwon.
That's out Geelong way, yeah?
Yep. What do you reckon, man?
Well, there you
Set
go.
it up.
Does Barwon still exist?
It's still there.
Wow.
Still there in
I'm
its
pretty sure I actually
original
went past
guise.
it not long ago when we were out checking out Geelong with Nathan Glab and Tony Harvey.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's still in the background
It's
there.
still
It's
there,
an old
man.
school
Like,
track.
Harvey and Nathan do their sprints just up
They do too, yes.
up near there. So it's still there. The hill's there. It's all good to, well, I wouldn't say it's good to go, but we can work with it.
I reckon.
I think you get a few sponsors behind that, and you'll get a few guys coming out.
All
of the
right,
woodwork
let's put
for
the
that
call
one.
out right now on the podcast. All right, guys, whoever's listening out there, let's get some sponsorship happening for this bad boy. And I reckon we can start workshopping this. Riders Life Retro.
Oh, wow.
It almost goes hand
Let's
in
do
hand.
that. That's a great idea.
Side hacks allowed.
Oh, bring your hacks, mate.
Bring your hacks.
Bring your hacks. If anyone needs a co-pilot, I'm down.
Oh, I'm there as well.
Yeah, you're heavy, mate. I wouldn't want to
No,
be
I'll
pedaling.
push. Hey, so who can lend us a side hack? Me and Ben in side
Oh,
hack.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Get the welder out.
Borgie,
Get
if
some
you're
steel.
listening.
Borgie.
Pull the old bike apart. Get the welder
No,
out.
no.
and
I've
build
got a
your
better
own.
idea. Let's go hard rubbishing.
Try and build
We will
something out of
make
shite.
a side hack
All right, out of a
ready for the retro titles at Barwon Eagles. We're going to
BMX
have
and
to
a
get on to
farm
the
gate.
council. We'll get on to Harvey.
Yeah.
He'd know who the council members are around that area. Tony Harvey.
He's probably paying them off.
We'll find out. Even Gordon McRae from over that
Gordy,
way.
yeah.
All we'll get the retro guys together, and I reckon we hold it just before state titles
This
in
is
Victoria.
big news, mate. This is a scoop.
What do you reckon?
Riders Life scoop. We're having a race.
Can it be done?
Can.
Look, I tell you what though, I'm only doing it if Ben's doing it.
I'll do it.
I'm in.
I'll do it.
Done.
I'm in.
You got something? I
Hang
can
on,
borrow?
but we've got to build the bike for him.
What you guys have got to do it
Yeah,
for
I'm
me.
going pity for you.
Man.
It's running.
It's gonna be a pit
It's
bike.
running toughs.
It's going to be a pit bike on Tufts. I've
Yeah.
actually got 12-inch Zoot Scoot Tufts
I've got that
we can put onto a
Supermax.
pit bike.
It's Supermax in the garage.
Do you want to sell it?
It's
Oh,
it's
God.
one of the new ones.
Here he
It's
goes.
one of the new ones. You probably don't want it. Or do you?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to workshop this. We're going to go to a break right now. Might come back, have a little bit more of a chat about it, and then wrap up for the night. Guys, looks like we're looking towards a
wow.
retro race.
It's been very
Barwon
productive.
Eagles. We'll get this sorted out.
Oh, Jesus. Righto.
Talk to you soon. And we are back again. So, retro race. This is sounding pretty good, isn't it?
Retro race, yep. All right, I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down. I'll put some hard-earned time and effort into it.
We'll have to establish a few rules. So, I guess...
The rules are don't talk about retro.
That's the first rule of retro.
First rule of retro, we don't talk about retro. No, I reckon we should really workshop this one. Like I said, we're putting a call out there to not only our sponsors, Rocky Mountain, Stay Strong, Magneto, Crush, Ace Race and Twisted. Guys, anyone else out there that wants to get behind this, let's try and make this...
Hutch, Skyway, CW. We'll get
All of
them
them?
on board.
All of
Patterson. That'd be rad.
I reckon this could go off. You know, we might look at doing this towards, like I said, the end of the year, sort of around the state titles in Victoria time. So that way then people who are coming over might want to then double up on a race. We'll have to talk about getting it somehow sanctioned and insured. I'm sure we can work through all that.
Yeah.
We're going to keep you up to date with Facebook and Instagram with what's going on with not only the bike builds and what else we are doing to try to get this over the line. I reckon we work together on it, and I reckon we make it a great event.
And I'll tell you what, another idea to put towards it as well. Not only make it retro BMX, but open up to the mountain bike guys. Do a retro mountain bike race as well.
Like a retro four-cross race. Dual slalom.
You can get that Manitou out.
Holy shit. I've got some things.
I reckon that's a great idea. Look, if there's any of the old school mountain bike crew that are out there, and you know what? Let's not just, I mean, obviously we are workshopping this. Let's not just make it about the race. Let's make it about an entire event, a carnival style, where we get the retro mountain bikers to come down, show off some of the retro mountain bikes in some sort of a show capacity. Once again, this is all hearsay at the moment. This is just us thinking out loud. We're talking about it. Let's make this happening. Let's make it. We'll get onto the council. If you guys are listening, anyone from the Geelong Council, Barwon Eagles,
this sounds great.
get in contact with us.
Anyone that knows me knows that I'm just here for the ride and you do all the hard work. So yeah, this sounds awesome.
Thanks a lot.
No worries, man.
On that note, we are going to wrap up. Guys, what do you guys got coming up at the moment? Adsy, talk us through. What do you got going this month with yourself, mate?
Well, I'll be back down at Frankston for the continuation of the summer series. I'll be doing a few Saturday afternoon race meets down at Casey. Oh my God, I'm going to be Saturday mornings at Frankston with James Tate, and he's going to
kill you.
Put me through the ringer again.
He's a good kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
I like James.
Considering he doesn't race too much, he still gives back to the sport.
He's a nice bloke.
Absolutely, yeah.
Full credit to him.
What about yourself, Ben?
Me, I'm doing...
well, we've got Black Buller coming
we
up
got
this
Black
weekend.
Buller.
Yeah.
Hey.
We've been waiting a while for
We
this
have.
one.
We're going to do that. I'm pussying out of the...
We're camping down the bottom,
We're camping down the bottom, yeah. I'm not
Got a
doing
bit of
that
a
slope
cruise
style,
style,
though.
this. Yeah, I know you will.
Oh, man, I'm done, mate. I didn't get any time into foam pit, and that's my own doing. Like, I'm lazy.
Weak.
I am. It'll be very interesting to see how I go on the gravity enduro after not riding the bike for about 5 weeks.
You, 5 weeks, it's nothing for you.
Oh.
You've seen you. You come back from Nepal, I haven't ridden for a while, and climbs like a mountain goat.
Well, we'll see, because I've got another 12 months on the clock. A bit more arthritis and stuff like that. And then what is it, the week after
Weekend after is
Yu Yang's VDHS round.
Yeah.
That's the last round.
Yep.
So if you haven't been, you better go to this one. It'll be good.
Look, it's a nice close one.
It's a nice close one. The spectating on this particular trail will be good too, because there's some really... They're using Bandages of Glory, which I believe Liam told me before, and I just broke with protocol and addressed Liam, who's actually in the room behind the camera, and he's the brains in the outfit. Like, why don't I just keep going with this and just say Liam is the best? He does a great job of putting something together here out of this. So anyway, I'll just...
We don't mention Liam enough.
We don't. He should be mentioned more. I love the guy.
I think he should almost be classed as a sponsor.
Well, he should. Yeah, he's definitely the workhorse, isn't he? It's a great track. There's a lot of cool features to watch from.
That's not the one you went off on, is it?
No.
No.
No, it's not. No, I didn't come off on this one. No. Yeah, no, I stuck to the track on that one.
Yeah.
But great track. Go down, have a look. Big jumps, good rocks. There should
Plenty
be
of spectator area.
Yeah, but wow, it's a short track, so you can sort of walk the whole thing and check it out. But
while you're there, take your bike and go do some of the other tracks.
Yeah, there's tracks everywhere there. Totally, that's a great idea. So hit up some of the other ones while the racing's on, or whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's on as well.
Yeah. Any of the big names going to be hitting that one?
Not that I'm aware of. Just the guys. You might get Liam Panozzo, who's always super fast. That guy's just crazy good on the bike. Dave Habich.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him win and get on the podium, because he might smile.
Well, that would be different.
It would be. I wouldn't recognise him. Be like, who's that guy? Looks a bit like Dave, but he's happy.
Yes. And of course, well, with Bike Baller, I'm going to be looking at doing quite a few events.
Yeah, you're going to do A-Bomb again?
Thinking about it.
Good
Thinking about it.
Good
but I'm really looking at tackling you on the 16-inch dual slalom.
I'll have ya.
Yeah, righto. And of course, a few other events going on around both the state and Australia. We have the Tassie state titles on this weekend. Yep. It's a pretty packed weekend for a long weekend.
First time you haven't been for a while, eh?
Yeah, I've done 3 years in a row in Tassie, and it's only because it fell on Bike Buller weekend that I couldn't make it over this year. We've also got Shepparton's open meeting. Bit bit of controversy with what's going on over there, since they sort of haven't really got their track together. The poor fellas have only got like 3 or 4 people working on the whole joint. So
Where there's BMX, there's controversy.
yeah, well, we'll wait and see the reports on that one after the weekend. But, you know, good luck to them. They're doing an awesome job. They're
Yep.
trying to rebuild a whole...
Go,
first
Shep.
state. Yep.
We're rooting for you.
Following that, the weekend of Yuyangs, you have another controversial one in BMX, as always. Warrnambool and ACT titles on the same
Clashing.
weekend. Yep. Apparently not
Flip
meant to
a
happen,
coin.
but it certainly does. Part of Bike Buller is, of course, the last round of the Vic Enduro Tour.
Yep.
So we're going to
Yep.
have some great podium finishes coming
Yep.
up into that. And on the 23rd of March, there is the Rad Random Ride. So if you have never checked out a Rad Random Ride, we've been talking retro all night tonight. Check it out on Facebook. It's under Rad Random Rides.
Yep.
These guys organise rides and things all through either the city or the outskirts of
Yep.
the city. Great day, family friendly, stopping in at pubs for lunches and
Yep.
all that sort of stuff. Sometimes it's the Werribee Zoo, sometimes it's the city. It's even been down south towards Mornington and all that as well. So check those guys out. They're always a good bunch of guys to go for a ride with if you've got nothing on a Sunday.
And girls.
And girls, of course. And, of course, a new thing that's just been starting up lately. You've seen us at Empire Ride and Skate Shop. They've started doing flip school. Thursday nights, go and learn how to backflip, front
No
flip on a
way.
pushy.
That's
So
cool.
Dan is the guy that we've spoken to a few times down there. He's now running flip school.
Wow.
Get on down there, learn how to...
Flipping
really-
school is something that I used to do a lot of, but I can't backflip.
Really?
Will you be going down there, Luke, and learning to
I've
flip?
actually been trying to get down there. However, I've got coaching on Thursday nights, but I'm trying to organise with him that I can get there after coaching, because I'm really intrigued in trying to learn this front flip that he proclaims is easier than a back flip.
Oh,
What?
I know, right? I sit there going, I don't know about that, but he seems to think...
Thursday night?
Thursday nights.
What time is this?
I believe it kicks off about 7:30.
I'll tell you what, I'll run the coaching for you, so you can get down there. We'll get a video going and see how you go.
That's
for
a good offer. That's a bloody generous offer.
Yeah, I like that. However, I don't think my kids would admire that one. But like I said, look, I'm going to definitely try and get down there to at least 1 or 2 of these, and, you know, always follow our Instagram, Facebook and all that, because you will see me killing myself.
Is it on tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Wednesday, you knucklehead.
Or the day after that?
The day after that it is.
It is on.
It is on. There
Oh,
you go. There you
I'd
go.
say it's the first.
Hey, you know what?
That
Hang on.
is the.
We could get this done before your slope style at Bike
Christ,
Buller.
what have I done? No, I
Well,
couldn't.
you can get
could I?
those 16-inch pit bikes out for this, for the flipping school.
Oh my
I
god!
can lend you a bike. I got the S&M there, sitting there waiting to go.
I got your black market under my house too. There's no shortage of bikes, mate. But this
Yeah, you're
Thursday
right.
is the only Thursday that I've got off from doing swimming and stuff with the kids ever. So I might just
Are we
try
gonna
and
book you
sneak
in?
down there.
Are we going to make a phone call to Dan and say, hey, we got Ben coming down for flip school?
Go on,
Yeah?
ring him up.
We'll get that
All
organised.
right, ring him up.
Oh, and on that note, guys, it's been a pleasure giving you all that is retro tonight. Thank you very much, Adam,
Thank
for
you,
coming
Adam.
in.
Thank you very much.
You're quite an articulate gentleman. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on board.
It's been great being here.
And, of course, thank you to all our sponsors. Rocky
God, I love
Mountain
'em.
Bikes
Yep. Ace Race, stay strong, crush.
and Twisted Concepts, all looking after us. Thank
Yep.
you very much, guys. Once again, it's sayonara.
Au revoir.
See you later.
Talk to you soon, guys.